Again, good afternoon. On behalf of the members of the Standing Committee on Executive Appointments and Investigation, we would like to welcome Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios' representative, Mr. Kay Bautista, the appointee, Ms. Polly Dilongro Masga, elected officials, dignitaries, and members of the general public. Before we proceed forward with this public hearing, let me first introduce the members of this committee. To my right side of the aisle is the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Vinnie Sabran from the 3rd Senatorial District, Saipan. And next to him is Senator Carl King Neighbors from the 2nd Senatorial District, Tinian. And to my left side of the aisle is the Vice President of the Senate, Senator Justo Kirgua from the 3rd Senatorial District, Saipan. And I'm the chairman of this committee, Senator Francisco Q. Cruz from the 2nd Senatorial District, Tinian. I would also like to announce a couple of things in the interest of informational purposes regarding code of conduct during this public hearing. Today, the members of this committee are conducting a public hearing on the appointment of Ms. Polly Dilongro Masga to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Health Corporation Board of Trustees. The public will be invited to make comment as to all it is, Mr. Right? The public will be invited to make comments as to whether you support or oppose the appointee before us this afternoon. We value your input. However, any comments beyond the facts of the appointee or comments that are not directly related with this public hearing will not be entertained, and such comment will be removed from the record. At the same time, please observe minimal noises in disrupting this hearing process, and please turn your electronic to a silent mode. Thank you. Let us now begin. This public hearing is now in session. Today is July 26, 2021 at approximately 1:38 in the afternoon in the Senate Chamber, Capitol Hill, Saipan. This is a public hearing regarding the appointment of Ms. Polly Dilongro Masga by Governor Rob Dilongro Torres and Lieutenant Governor Arnold I. Palacios to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Health Corporation Board of Trustees, pursuant to 3 CMC, Section 2825. Ms. Dara Longco will be our clerk for this afternoon. Mr. John Santos and Benter Lahi will be our sergeant at arms. And Mr. Jobo Moody's will be our legal counsel and will all serve accordingly. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Longco to please call the roll.
Senator Francisco Q. Cruz.
Here.
Senator Victor V. Hoko. Senator Carl R. King Neighbors.
Present.
Senator Justo S. Kirgua. Senator Vinnie F. Sablan. Mr. Chairman, 4 members are present, 1 member is absent.
Thank you, Ms. Longco. With 4 members present, we have the number to proceed with this public hearing. However, the Vice Chairman of this committee, Senator Victor V. Hoko, is excused. At this time, I would like to hear a motion to adopt our agenda.
Chairman, I would like to offer a motion to adopt today's agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and was seconded. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to ask the Sergeant at Arms to please escort the Governor's appointee and as well as the Governor's rep into the chamber. And again, sir, before you introduce the members of this committee of the Governor's appointee, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Buenos Aires, good afternoon. Chairman Cruz, Senator King Neighbors, Senator Sablan, Senator Kirgua. For the record, my name is Kevin Bautista, Press Secretary for the Office of the Governor. On behalf of Governor Ralph Dilongro Torres and Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios Palacios, I thank you for the opportunity to come and testify before you today once again. I'm here to introduce the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's nominee for the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation Board of Trustees, Mrs. Polly Dilongro Masga. Ms. Mazia is currently the Director of Human Resources at the Northern Marianas College and is an accomplished human resources professional with over 20 years of experience in the private sector. Additionally, she formerly served as the General Manager of the Marianas Medical Center and Pacific Laboratories for 4 years, so she has valuable experience as a healthcare administrator, bringing this important perspective to the governing body of our island's healthcare system. In addition to her daily work, she's a member of the Society for Human Resource Management, or SHRM, and the State Workforce Development Board, and formerly served on the CMI Area and Education Council. Healthcare is at the heart of our community's priorities, and the focus on that priority was on true display during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here in the CNMI, the mindset collectively was that one case in the CNMI is one case too many. Given our high population of elderly and people with pre-existing conditions, we knew that we are a community that is very vulnerable to COVID-19, and if we weren't proactive, our already fragile island healthcare system would have been overwhelmed. CHCC, under the leadership of CEO Esther Muña and the support of Ms. Mazga and the Board of Trustees, together with the Governor and Lieutenant Governor through the COVID-19 Task Force, led one of the most successful responses to the pandemic, not just in the country, but in the world. CEO Muña and her team, along with Mrs. Mazga and the trustees, should be commended for their work. Moving forward, we hope to work together with this legislative body and the Board of Trustees to identify resources for the management of our island's healthcare system, as well as the viability of our ongoing medical referral program and our public healthcare facilities on island. Speaking briefly from personal experience, Mrs. Mazga formerly served as the chairwoman of the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, where I concurrently serve with her as secretary and treasurer of the board. And I know her to be a true professional of sound moral character and possessing good judgment in the implementation of programs for the Commonwealth's benefit. I know that she will continue to be a valuable member of the CHCC Board of Trustees, assisting CEO Muña and her leadership team to make our hospital more efficient for the livelihood of our people. Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios placed their full trust and confidence in Mrs. Polly de Leon as a member of the CHCC Board of Trustees. I know she stands ready to answer your questions and present her plans for the future. Her experience, leadership qualities, and her commitment to creating a better Commonwealth make her a viable candidate, and we ask for your expeditious approval for her to continue serving on our island's hospital healthcare board. Thank you, Jesus Monsi Zangilsa, for the opportunity to introduce her to this August body. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bautista. And at this time, I'd like to ask the appointed to please stand so that the clerk can administer it on.
Ms. Mosca, please raise your right hand. Ms. Polly de Leon Guerrero Mosca, you do solemnly swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you shall give in the matter at hand shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you, clerk. And Ms. Polly Mosca, I know that you submitted all required documents by this committee, but if you have more to share with this body, you have the floor, but please begin by stating your name for the record. Thank you.
Hafide, honorable senators and committee members. My name is Polly de Leon Guerrero Mosca, and I am truly humbled by the reappointment of Governor Ralph de Leon Guerrero Torres to continue to serve as a board of trustee for the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. In 2018, I appeared before this committee and stated my commitment to work together with other members of the CHCC board, CEO Esther Muña, as well as this administration. This commitment still stands not only to them, but to the people of the CNMI. To this board, I bring my vast work experience. I have managed a private outpatient clinic and was involved in relevant health organizations such as the Area Health Education Council, which helps to build capacity in the healthcare field. Additionally, my role as part of the CNMI State Workforce Development Board, I am committed to aligning and improving the workforce programs for the Commonwealth. This, of course, includes our healthcare industry in both the public and private sectors. My many years of experience in human resources and being a member of HR organizations such as the Society for Human Resource Management, NMI chapter, will also provide CHCC with a different viewpoint about HR. In closing, I would like to thank this committee for giving me this opportunity to speak before you, and I hope for your favorable support in my confirmation as a member of the Board of Trustees for the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. Si Judas Maasi, Sen Almar.
Thank you, Ms. Masga. And before I open the floor for public comments, first I would like to recognize those entities that are invited to participate. First on the list, from the Commonwealth Health Corporation, the CEO, Ms. Esther T. Munya.
Can you hear me? Honorable Senator and Chair and members of this committee, thank you for the opportunity to support Ms. Polly Delongero Mosca's nomination to again be a member of the CHCC Board of Trustees. I also want to thank you for the privilege to work with Ms. Mosca this past 4 years. Ms. Mosca was a great partner in ensuring that CHCC fulfills its vision, mission, and values to provide quality healthcare for the people of the CMI. Her education and past work experiences in human resources management have particularly helped us in ensuring the medical staff privileging process described by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services conditions of participation were effective. In the most recent survey, the governing body had no conditional findings, and Ms. Mosca helped us get there. She has exemplified strong leadership skills with the fostering of relationships and with hospital leadership. She sets clear goals and expectations, provides great input, and overall listens and gives respect despite her role and responsibility of oversight. As you know, the role and responsibilities of being the CEO of the hospital and the health system are huge and complex. Having a partner, a leader, and a boss that ensures we all have accountability, hold high standards of integrity, have impartiality, and still remain understanding and be open-minded ensures we remain focused on protecting the health and bringing our very best for the health needs of the people of the CNMI. I ask for your support on the confirmation of Ms. Polly Delongero Mosca, and I thank you for your time and your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Munya, for your testimony. Any member of the Board of Trustees, CHC Board of Trustees? Just state your name for the record.
My name is Edward M. Guerrero, and I am the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees for the Commonwealth Health Corporation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of this committee, for the opportunity to come forward and support the nominee, Ms. Polly Delongero Mosca. For the past 1 year, 8 months that I've worked with the Board of Trustees, I have come to work very closely with Polly. I found her to be very professional, very thorough. Whenever there is things to be reviewed, I always depend on her to come up with everything that needs to be discussed within the board. And that thoroughness helps the board to come up with the best decision that we could never come to enhance CHCC. At this particular time, CHCC does not have quorum, and we have issues and matters that we need to address. And I ask this August body to please expedite the approval and support of Mrs. Polly Mosca to be confirmed again to serve as the trustee for the CHCC. We need to move forward, and we need her to come back and help us move forward with things that we need to make decision on. And with that, I'd like to again thank every one of you for your support And I look forward to having her again back to CHCC board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lumber. Any other board of trustee?
On behalf of Chair Lori Demore, she won't be able to make it today because of her other work and in advocacy. And so she wanted me to share that, she strongly supports her confirmation. She especially appreciates Polly's thoughtful review of all the materials in front of her, especially in credentialing and privileging and seamless review. And she can always count her on her insight. I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other board of trustee? Okay, no the board of trustee. At this time, before I open the floor for public comment, again, I would like to remind everyone that any comments that are brought that are not directly related with this public hearing will not be entertained, and such comment will be removed from the record. At this time, I open the floor for any member of the public in the gallery who wishes to come forward and give testimony, whether in support of the appointee or not in support. You're welcome to come forward. And before you proceed with the testimony, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman Cruz and members of the Senate Committee on Executive Appointments. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to speak today in support of Polly Mosca's nomination to be a member of the CHCC Board of Trustees. My name is Frankie Elliptico, and I come here in my personal capacity, but I also serve as the Vice President of Administration and Advancement at Northern Marianas College. I have known Ms. Mosca for many years, and throughout her very remarkable career and active involvement in HR and organizational management, including in her capacity as the HR Director of Northern Marianas College. In her position at the college, Ms. Mosca helps to oversee the strategic direction and management of the institution's most precious and most valuable asset, its employees. From hiring to employee evaluation, organizing team building activities, recommending and updating employee policies, overseeing professional development activities, and more, Ms. Mosca has earned the respect of her peers and colleagues at NMC. In addition to her regular duties at the college, she's also had a very key and instrumental role in NMC's accreditation efforts. She leads one of the teams that is tasked with reviewing, improving, and enhancing the college's efforts in recruiting and retaining highly qualified and motivated staff and faculty. Ms. Mosca has also played a leadership role in the college's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, helping to ensure that our employees and students are safe. I have always been impressed by her leadership. She has continually provided a well-researched and sensible counsel to her colleagues, as well as nonprofit agencies like the CNMI Humanities Council, other ad hoc committees, and working groups with honesty, integrity, and with a sincere passion for the people of the Commonwealth. Governor Torres could not have nominated a better and more dedicated individual to the CHCC board. I have no doubt that her confirmation to the board will complement the other board members' very broad and very extensive background and experience. I fully support her nomination and urge this honorable body to confirm it in the soonest possible time. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak to you. I will submit a copy of my comments today to the committee staff shortly after this presentation. Again, thank you very much for your support of Ms. Mosca's nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Elliptico. Still open for public comment?
Happy days in Tyrrell. My name is Nicole Babatza, and I am here today as a private citizen in full support of Mrs. Mosca's nomination to the CHCC Board of Trustees. Mrs. Mosca embodies the qualities of a true professional. Her 20 years of experience
in strategy development, as well as implementation, operations management, and most especially leadership skills make her a great fit for this position. Her work alongside many professionals ensures that we are moving forward in the CNMI. I have currently served over the past 4 years alongside Ms. Mosca on the CNMI State Workforce Board. In fact, she actually awarded me my very first scholarship when I was in high school through the CNMI SHRP chapter. And so Mrs. Mosca continues to display her work ethic through myself as well as many others that she has touched. So I thank you for your support for Mrs. Mosca. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Still open for public comment? No one else? Once we close public comment, we will not go back to public comment. So this is the opportunity. Anyone outside the gallery? No one else? Public comment is now closed. At this time, I'd like to recognize the Vice President of the Senate, Senator Justo Filippa, from the 3rd Senatorial District side.
Good afternoon, Ms. Mosca. This is your second time to appear with this committee with my presence. So I will not ask you about your educational background and experience. I saw it from your first appointment, and it's from this a submission to the committee, and also it has been mentioned with some of the witnesses. But however, I would like to ask you one question. In the 4 years that you are a Board of Trustees, I just want to know one major, I'm only asking for one major accomplishments that you can share with the committee during your time as a Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Senator Filippa. I'd really like to say my very diverse insight towards how, whether it be through operations, giving insight from that matter, whether it be for budgeting reasons or whether it be for maintaining or retaining employees, faculty, employees and staff. That's probably one major aspect, and I know it was repetitively said, and I know you saw me kind of chuckling about it, but it is true that I'm kind of a stickler for attention to detail when it comes to especially healthcare, like people who are applying to be part of the healthcare system, being a nurse or being a physician. And so I think the biggest accomplishment is really just providing that diverse insight on everything that we do at the CHCC.
Okay, so just Marcia, Ms. Mosca. This now is just a concern or two concerns brought to my attention, and I would like to ask you to discuss it with the CEO and perhaps the other members of the board if you need to, on the billings. It was brought to my attention that billings are still being late, especially to insurance companies. And by the time the billing came to the patient, the insurance has been already terminated. And that's not only a loss to CCC, but it's a burden on the patient because CCC is billing the patient now because this person's insurance has been terminated years back. So please look into that. Another also that was brought into my attention is some of the people in the CNY have received bills from CCC on the COVID-19 shots. I thought that it was my understanding that the COVID-19 shots are free to our people. However, there are that receive bills from CCC. Can you look into that if you're confirmed and perhaps discuss also with the CEO and maybe the other board members? What are you going to do with these bills? Are these people who have to pay this, or are these charges already covered under the COVID-19 pandemic assistance that have been appropriated by the U.S. Congress? And I thank you again. You're a full-time employee, and perhaps you really like challenges that you continue to accept to be a member of this board. And as the CEO mentioned, that CCC is a complex institution, and it takes people that can give their time and attention to improve our healthcare. So I thank you, and I also thank the administration for seeing perhaps your importance in this board, and took the steps to re-nominate you to serve for another 4 years. And hopefully all the boards will be submitted and confirmed so that you can have a quorum and proceed in helping the CEO with some of the major challenges with CCC. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, Vice President Kiruma. At this time, I'd like to recognize the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Sabang.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon to all who are welcome here in the Senate chamber. Welcome to your Senate chamber. Good afternoon to Holly. Good to see you. Welcome to the chamber as well on your renomination for the CHCC board. After reading all your credentials and the letters of support, I've noticed you've served in, and I've known that you've served in several different positions in the healthcare field, in addition to your human resource professional capacities as well. Also a number of boards that you've served on and professional organizations. Just in general, we've really come a long way in our healthcare system. I must say we've been making so much improvements through the years, and of course under the leadership of our CEO, Mr. Munya, and the wonderful staff at CHCC. So I'm comforted to know that the CHCC board will have, upon your confirmation, a very experienced healthcare professional to tackle the needs of our community, right, and to make those very important decisions to improve our healthcare system. Also want to take this time to thank the COVID-19 task force and all the frontline professionals and staff of all the government agencies, and again, as well as our CHCC CEO, Munya, and her staff in their work in fighting this pandemic, in addition to providing all the general services that the hospital has to provide, all the general healthcare services that the hospital has to provide. Each time I drop and pick up my wife from work, I look around and really acknowledge everything that's going on around the hospital And I'm very confident that under great leadership of the hospital and the board, that we're able to continue and keep our community safe. So I just wanted to take time to really point that out. There's a lot of we just had an Eagi meeting or hearing this morning for NMC, and I always like to share factors and challenges in any of the hearings that we hear. And some of these factors and challenges for our healthcare system is, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. We have a very unique geographical location, and that gives us challenge when we make our decisions. Our diverse population as well. We have our challenge to compete for professional services with other healthcare entities, right? Doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. Our facilities that we continue to improve and find ways to further that improvement for better healthcare services. Staffing and workforce matters, which you are really right in front with all your professional experience on that. So that's very comforting to have. And then we also have challenges to obtain needed technology, right, and equipment. We have the federal mandates that we have to abide by. And then we look at who comes into the hospital, and we try to be proactive and try to really shape our current lifestyle that really affects our community members, right? So we try to push education in eating healthy and all that stuff. So all of these are factors, and a lot of this comes. All these factors, funding is really where everything's at to improve that, right? We have the uncompensated care challenges that is really another factor that's really on the forefront of trying to make decisions and how to really make things work. But with these factors and challenges, it keeps us on our feet, right? And then we need that. There's an ideal workforce, and we try to strive for that. But we with the factors, and even up here at the legislature, when we have those challenges, that's what keeps us performing in how we have to perform, right? So many of these factors are beyond our control, and we have to acknowledge that. And this is where we have to come together and identify the priorities in our healthcare system and CNMI to really improve the quality of service for our people and to keep our people safe. So I know there's a lot of things going on in the medical field around the world, even here in the CNMI, and it continues every single day. I acknowledge that, and we recognize that up here. And we all have our part. Everyone in the hospital has their part in providing that care. We have our part in providing the funding and legislations, and we all have to do this together. But I do have one question to ask you, and it's just to get your opinion, your professional opinion, as this is something that's been tossed around, and we've spoke to CEO Munya about it. We've spoken to many of the other board members, and also officials of the executive branch. But I want to ask your opinion on something that we always talk about here when we get to the budget is the medical referral program. I want to ask your opinion. What are your thoughts on the current structure of the medical referral program, and what do you think should change or not?
That is definitely a tough question. My personal opinion or my input on that is, kind of gaining back the medical referral program to CHCC. I think it's not, we don't want to take care of it. I think we're okay with it, but in line with that is we need to make sure that we have appropriate funding for that, because I know in one of our meetings when we went to Rhoda, for example, medical referral was really a big thing because they're much farther than Tinian. It's easier for them to come here. And so with the medical referral program, so long as we have the appropriate appropriations to fund and operate the medical referral program, I think it can work. It is definitely a lot of work, and we're probably the only place in the world that offers such a program, really. Other places, and I think this kind of boils down to our culture, right? Like, we want to help our people. We know uncompensated care is high. We know that anyone can walk in and walk out of CHCC. But at the end of the day, is, do we take care of our people, right? Or do we take care of someone who needed the help, whether or not they had insurance? And same thing with medical referral. No one in this world has offered that kind of assistance. We are so blessed to even have that. I mean, if the government decides we just don't have the money to fund it and we're done, so I mean, that's going to be kind of hard to swallow as a community because we're so used to that assistance. But the bottom line is really, if we have the proper funding to operate medical referral, then I think it can work. But if we don't get that support, it's just going to make it so much harder, and our uncompensated care is going to increase probably, I don't know, 2, 3 fold, or triple that. So that's my perspective.
Thank you. And a perfect answer for a tough question. I just needed to gauge your opinion on that, since it's an ongoing conversation up here on the Hill, and even in the public. But I must say that we've, like I said, we've come a long way, and there's been new and additional programs at the hospital and services that we're providing, right? Like oncology, that has just been an addition in the past several years, and some other specialty services. And we have to acknowledge that that's been helping the medical referral realm in general, and it's been kind of decreasing a lot of the expenditures that we have to put forth to take care of our people. But it's true, we're the only, we're probably one of the only jurisdictions, there's probably only a few that really provide that for our community, and I know that gives comfort to our community that the healthcare system does provide that service for them. So I think as long as we chip away slowly but surely in providing a lot of the medical services that we can here, I think we'll put ourselves in a better place. And I know that it's really tough not to have the medical referral program, taken away in its totality. Like I said, in one of the factors, our unique geographical location, that really plays a role, and it's a very huge factor in why we have to give that or kind of provide that system for our people. So I just wanted to kind of gauge your opinion on that, and a very great answer. And we'll continue to strive forward to aid in decreasing the expenses of that program as we provide all the services here in our lone hospitals. So thank you for that. No more questions, Mr. Chairman. I yield my time at this point.
Thank you, Leader. Now I'd like to recognize Senator Rivers.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, everyone, for making the time to be here today for this public hearing. Mrs. Mosca, thank you so much for accepting the nomination from the governor and the lieutenant governor to continue to serve on the CSC Board of Trustees. I want to first off take this opportunity to thank CEO Wes Munya, CACC staff, COVID Task Force, the governor's office for really making tough decisions early on in this pandemic to kind of keep our community safe. I know we did have some community spread early on, but we were able to contain that, and now we don't have any of it in our communities, and that's just a testament to the hard work of not only the administrations, the leadership, and the staff on every level. So I wanted to say that. As I look over your credentials, share the same sentiment as for Leader Sablan. I don't have any issues with your credentials. The testimonies today that were provided show your willingness and capacity to serve. I do want to bring up briefly some concerns from our side, or my side rather. I was made aware by a constituent that our, what we like to call medevac, but it's really a patient transport from Tinian Saipan has stopped from 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. rather to 6 a.m. This is concerning on several levels. I'm not sure if you are being aware of this or you're familiar with the situation. If you aren't, if and when you're appointed, I would hope that you look into this issue. This causes issues not only on the medical side in the event that knowing that there's no transport for a patient between these hours, providers now have to make a decision early on whether or not this patient should be transferred, just in case something goes wrong. And to that end, they might not need to be transferred, and we're using funds for patients that don't need to be transferred. But more importantly, in the event that someone needs urgent care between these hours, they're not afforded that. And that's something that I don't know what the reason is behind it. I would love to know if it's a funding issue, if it's something that we can do on our end, if it's an agreement between South Marianas, whatever it may be. Please, I ask humbly that you look into it for us. I need my time.
Thank you, Senator Nivers. I guess what Senator Nivers from Tino was alluding is regards to maybe back some on the particular time of Dr. 6. I spoke to see whether that it's been arranged, but we want to know what is the protocol on such hours to medical patient. If there is a medical patient, whether there is an agreement with SMN or what other, is there any concrete agreement that the community of TN or even Rhoda can rely that there is a transportation and they will not be worried about whether or not they have to wait until 6 o'clock in the morning for SMA to provide that. If that's been resolved, then I appreciate it, but we want to know from you whether do you have any knowledge on this matter, and if not, then maybe perhaps if you are given the blessing by this committee, maybe perhaps you can review with the other board and the CEO and see if this is an issue, then see how can that be resolved.
I don't have a response to that right at this time, but I will definitely make sure that that is addressed, because as I mentioned earlier, the people of Tinian and Rhoda are in a, as Senator Sablan mentioned, you know, again, the location, right, and that's really important. So do we send someone here and they don't really need to be here, or do we not? But I would definitely look into that.
Yes, please. And if that's the case, that there is a problem with SMA, then you want to know what is the option, what is the alternative plan to transport patient, whether there is another means of transportation to bring patient over to Saipan. So I thank you for taking note of that and to clarify that whether that's already been resolved or still on the discussion. And I'm also concerned about medical. I know you mentioned earlier about the medical referral, and I know that it's the Eagi, Attorney General already came over his opinion that it's not done by legal authority for medical referral to be under the executive branch, and I understand that in order for CAC to run that, it has to be a sufficient appropriation to run that medical referral office. But in the meantime, I ask that that this matter continue to be discussed, because it's not a legal place where it's that medical referral office under the executive branch, as what the AG stated, and it's under the responsibility of CHCC. And it's also a good thing that it has to go back, because there are many times that patients and family members that who come to our office, which is just making it a political issue on this side, and we respect the medical side. For example, the the doctors who's giving, who's diagnosing a patient of the findings whether or not the patient should be may also present also accountable. Understand that family members were very much desperate to seek assistance from our office and not to the professionals because it's under the second branch, and they believe that if you go through this office, there's always another hope for them to be sent. Although political office are not physician office to be the office to examine individuals. So please can you look into those so that perhaps that office, the medical office, can be operated or be under the corporation CACC. So to alleviate some of the confusion from our people, the patients that are asking for help from our office. And in regards to the dialysis, are we still having problem with those that are not medically covered? Are we still servicing patients that are not US citizens that are not covered under Medicaid program? And how much are how much the impact on those?
I know that we are in discussion. Obviously, I'm not acting to the board, but I know there has been discussion about that. It was brought to our attention to try to see how we can mend that situation.
Okay, thank you. And I continue to suggest that you work out with also with maybe perhaps you and the other board members to see those either the embassy or consulate office, what we can see how we can, assist these individuals that are not covered by what would be Medicaid, because of course we cannot, by law, our hospital cannot refuse services to anyone. But I don't know whether or not we can be able to continue to fund the expenses for those that are not covered. Maybe perhaps you can go through those legal through the intelligence office how they can communicate with their country to assist them. Otherwise, we'll continue to do the same thing. I continue to say this because I think even with the US, they're giving us funding for these islands that are under FSM. Like they're giving us funding for that, and I think it's not bad to reach out to those and see how they can, because I don't believe any country can abandon their own national in a foreign country. I think they should be responsible for those. So, to alleviate some of the costs that were, I don't know whether our collection receivables and non-receivables were in the, I know that maybe it's better now than before, but I think we still have a lot to collect, right? So I suggest that, you work with the other members if you're given the blessing and discuss over those matters and how can we alleviate some of the expenses that the Sinamay hospital is burden on those that are not non-US citizens that doesn't covered by Medicaid. Any other members wishes to? And again, I thank you for your patience and I appreciate your interest to continue to serve in this capacity. This is a very important responsibility, and I know it's a huge one. And to accept something like this, that it's very, very critical. It's, we not so many people will accept such position. So I appreciate your continued interest in this and in helping our corporation move forward. Thank you. At this time, all public comments are all taken. Oh, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Tiara, can you please acknowledge those letters that are submitted?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Senate EAGI Committee, Ms. Mosca, and members of the general public, in addition to the oral testimonies received today on the executive appointment of Ms. Polly DeYoungero Mosca to serve on the Board of Trustees of the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation, please be advised that the additional written testimonies officially received in support of the appointee. Rosa Tudela Aldon, Tiffany Willis, J. Vicky Benaventi, Leslie Camacho, Esther Munya, and Frankie Elliptico. At this time, the written testimony opposing the appointment of Ms. Mosca has been received by the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Tiara. Finally, all public comments were taken, that the record reflect that there are also written testimonies submitted from individuals in support of the appointee before this committee and will be included in the Senate Standing Committee recommendation report along with all testimonies presented today to be forwarded before the full Senate members in consideration. And will be included in the committee recommendation report for confirmation or rejection. And before we adjourn, I would like to extend on behalf of the members of this committee our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios, Mr. Kevin Bautista, the appointee Ms. Polly DeYoungero Mosca, and most especially the members of the general public for your participation and involvement during this important public hearing process. And we certainly hope that we continue this dialogue of communication within us, the elected officials, and the public to keep you abreast and informed of our current and future Senate hearings ahead that relates to public best interests. This concludes this public hearing for today. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Chairman, I would officially like to offer a motion to adjourn today's EAGI public hearing, subject to the call of the chair.
There's a motion for adjournment, and we'll second it. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. This public hearing is now adjourned.